President Trump marking Black History Month yesterday during a White House reception and gave a special thank you to the niece of the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Listen.
I was privileged to sign the Martin Luther King Jr. National Historic Act just a few weeks ago with Alveda by my side, and that was such an honor.
Together, he says, no matter what your skin color is, we bleed red. We're red-blooded Americans. So in his perspective, you serve everybody the same way without bias and all of that.
I do want to express thanks to you, Donald Trump, for being with us tonight. Your rent package for people on Wall Street who represent diversity. And we thank you for coming tonight. Let's give Donald Trump a big hand. I now want to bring forth a friend who has, well, he is deceptive in that his social style is of such. One can miss his seriousness, and his commitment for their success is beyond argument. When we opened this Wall Street project and we talked about it, he gave us space at 40 Wall Street, which was to make a statement about our having a presence there. And beyond that, in terms of reaching out and being inclusive, he's done that too. And created for many people a comfort zone when I ran for the presidency in '84 and '88. And many others thought it was either laughable or something to avoid. He came to our business meeting here in New York.
I will tell you, a large percentage of the people, and especially in construction, that are building these great jobs are black and minorities, and I'm very proud of it. We have close to 25%, and I think the number's going up, and they do a great job. There are no better builders than we have in New York, and a big percentage of that is black and minority folks. So I just want to thank everybody in the room for being here. I look forward to some questions.
Do you have a vice presidential candidate in mind?
Well, I really haven't gotten quite there yet.
I guess it's just
Oprah. I love Oprah. Oprah would always be my first choice.
Oprah.
Oprah, your competitor, right?
Oprah's a competitor.
You know what?
No
I'll tell you, she's really a great woman. Though. She is a terrific woman. She's somebody that's very special. I have not even thought about it. I guess we'll see. We'll see. Maybe that's part of the whole process.
Would she be someone? I mean, kidding aside, that you might think about?
If she'd do it, she'd be fantastic. I mean, she's popular. She's brilliant. She's a wonderful woman. I mean, if she'd ever do it. I don't know that she'd ever do it. She's got.
You'd ask her.
She'd be sort of like me. I mean, I have a lot of things going. She's got a lot of things going.
What a ticket
that would be. That would be a pretty good ticket. But she's a very exceptional woman. We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence. It has no place in America. And as I have said many times before, no matter the color of our skin, we all live under the same laws. We all salute the same great flag. And we are all made by the same Almighty God. We must love each other, show affection for each other, and unite together in condemnation of hatred, bigotry, and violence. We must rediscover the bonds of love and loyalty that bring us together as Americans. Racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and other hate groups that are repugnant to everything we hold dear as Americans.
David Duke announced his Senate candidacy, claiming your agenda for his own, or essentially saying, glad that you spoke out.
Are you ready before you ask the question?
Newt Gingrich said, every Republican should repudiate this guy no matter what it takes.
And I do. Are you ready?
Would you support a Democrat over David Duke if that was what was necessary to defeat him?
I guess depending on who the Democrat, but the answer would be yes. Look, the answer is as quick as you can say it. In fact, I want to answer you before you even ask the question. Because last time, with another person in your position, I did it very quickly, and they said he didn't do it fast enough. Rebuked. Is that okay? Rebuked.
Rebuked.
Done.
David Duke and all were disavowed. I disavowed him on Friday. I disavowed him right after that because I thought if there was any question, and you take a look at Twitter, almost immediately after on Twitter and Facebook, they were disavowed again. I disavowed him every time I speak to somebody virtually, and, they just keep it going. They keep it going. And they said, oh, we never looked at your Twitter account. We never looked at Facebook. I said, take a look at Facebook. It was totally disavowed.
So are you prepared right now to make a clear and unequivocal statement renouncing the support of all white supremacists?
Of course I am. Of course I am.
Well, I think the driver of the car is a disgrace to himself, his family, and this country. And that is, you can call it terrorism, you can call it murder, you can call it whatever you want. I would just call it as the fastest one to come up with a good verdict. That's what I'd call it. The shooter in El Paso posted a manifesto online consumed by racist hate. In one voice, our nation must condemn racism, bigotry, and white supremacy. These sinister ideologies must be defeated. Hate has no place in America. Hatred warps the mind, ravages the heart, and devours the soul. I've condemned neo-Nazis. I've condemned many different groups. And I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
President Trump is stepping up for a major recording artist, A$AP Rocky, a rapper from Harlem, in prison in Sweden for more than 2 weeks after an altercation on the street. He says it was self-defense and that he has the video to prove it. And now President Trump is using the weight of his office to get A$AP Rocky out of jail.
As I know him, and I know him forever, I would call him an East Coast Republican. I thought when I asked the question, I thought he would say he's in the Rockefeller kind of Republican, which is sort of socially liberal and economically conservative. And there's a lot to be said for Donald Trump. Yeah, there's a lot, he's a good guy. He is really a good guy. He's not a racist.
You work for President Trump. Is he racist?
He is not racist at all,
Trump is not a racist. He's a realist. And the only color he sees is green, and he wants you to have some of it.
That's right. Civil rights activist Charles Evers endorsed Donald Trump for president.
I'm standing in that spot. I love this guy right here. Let me give this guy a hug right here. I love this guy right here.
Yeah. Come here. That's really nice. And that's from the heart. I didn't want to put you in that position, but that's from the heart. Special guy.
He should be president of the United States. That's what he should be.
So he's got your vote?
Yeah, hell yeah, big time.
I don't think he's a white supremacist, and I don't personally think he's a racist because I've seen him interacting around a lot of non-white people in my time. And I've never got a sense at all of him having any issue in terms of being, in his heart, a racist.
The unemployment rate for African Americans just reached another brand new, yesterday, all-time low in the history of our country. Well, now you have the best unemployment numbers, employment and unemployment numbers that you've ever had as African Americans, as Asian Americans, as Hispanic Americans. The best numbers we've ever had. And by the way, African American youth unemployment has also reached the lowest level ever recorded in history. Inspired by stories like Alice's, my administration worked closely with members of both parties to sign the First Step Act into law. Big deal. It's a big deal. This legislation reformed sentencing laws that have wrongly and disproportionately harmed the African American community. The First Step Act gives nonviolent offenders the chance to re-enter society as productive, law-abiding citizens. Now, states across the country are following our lead. America is a nation that believes in redemption. We are also joined tonight by Matthew Charles from Tennessee. In 1996, at the age of 30, Matthew was sentenced to 35 years for selling drugs and related offenses. Over the next 2 decades, he completed more than 30 Bible studies, became a law clerk, and mentored many of his fellow inmates. Now Matthew is the very first person to be released from prison under the First Step Act. Matthew, please. Thank you, Matthew. Welcome home.
There are 3,000 people sitting in prison right now who will get to come home soon because they're serving outdated, unfair sentences. The New York Times calls this the biggest breakthrough in criminal justice in a generation, and it was brought about by ordinary people who came together and fought. And I'm going to say something that I have to be honest. Donald Trump shocked me and a bunch of people by doing the right thing on this. People thought, because he's, from my point of view, he's been wrong on 99 issues, that he can never be right on one. On this issue, every time people made a prediction that Donald Trump was going to sell us out, turn on us, wasn't going to use political capital, he came harder. And as a result, it is now safe for people in both political parties to speak honestly. We know this prison system is not working. It's wasting money, sending people home bitter and not better. And Donald Trump has got to get the credit. He stood up. Obama did it first. Obama did it first, and now Trump's done it.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You demonize, and then we call it the wrap-up smear. If you want to talk politics, you call it the wrap-up smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it. And then you write it, and they'll say, see, it's reported in the press that this, and this. So they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called the wrap-up smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report on the smear that we made. And it's a tactic, and it's self-evident.